We'll return to Pretoria a little later. In the meantime, the Deputy Police Minister, Fikile Mbalula, has called for a review of the way the private security industry is regulated. Addressing an industry summit here in Johannesburg today, Mbalula accused private security companies of undermining the Constitution. The Deputy Minister says part of the problem is that they are gathering intelligence illegally.
Many South Africans use the services of private security companies for their own protection. But government is unhappy about the practices of some of these companies.
Part of the problems is a question of paying people lower wages, illegal immigrants, and at the same time emphasizing mercenary activities, illegal gathering of intelligence, which is unconstitutional, and most of the things that border on undermining of human rights.
The industry, however, argues that it's creating employment.
This industry is the biggest recruiter of entry-level jobs in the country. That means into the South African labour market. This industry provides jobs for people that would not have a living.
One of government's concerns is that some foreign-owned security companies might think they are above the law. But the industry maintains it's up to everyone to ensure that security companies are compliant with the law.
Ask the company, where are your people, when last have you vetted your guys? Make sure that the training certificates are real. You can ask those questions to the service providers. It is your duty, and it's each and every citizen of this country's duty to ask those questions. From corporate, from us in the street, we need to stand together, because from an industry alliance point of view, we drive compliance and we will root out those guys exploiting people.
The industry says it will launch a database at this summit that will assist in rooting out companies which operate outside the law. Paul Mgambi, News, Johannesburg.
Well, Steve Conradie, CEO of the Security Industry Alliance, joins us now. You saw him in that report. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsnet. The Deputy Police Minister painting a very damning and unflattering picture of your industry. How do you respond?
Good evening, and it's a pleasure to be here. As I said earlier today as well, that one of the strategic drivers of the Security Industry Alliance is compliance. And specifically today in the conference, we informed the delegates as well about the tasks that will happen and unfold as we carry on. The Industry Alliance members are associations, organizations. Those associations screen the companies or their members that are members of them. We've seen an exponential increase lately in corporates and others appointing non-compliant companies. And it is a concern for the industry, because that put a damaging image onto the industry, and as I said, it's exploiting employees.
If you admit that this is a problem, as the regulatory body, what are you going to do about it?
We're not the regulatory body. Remember, we're the industry representative body. Like the Chamber of Mines representing the mining industry, the Security Industry Alliance represents the security industry. The regulatory body in this case is SIRA. And part of this task team will consist of industry and all the government agencies that needs to perform part of this in order to act quickly and effectively. And we are there to assist government in order to clean up this industry. It is important that we play that role to prove self-compliance.
Do you admit to the extent of the problems that the Minister pointed out today?
We have seen examples lately, specifically from big tenders, where non-compliant companies were appointed in contracts. And we are not happy about it, because obviously they can only gain those tenders for not paying minimum wages to employees, first of all, and secondly, are not compliant. We have got examples where guys were appointed, or companies were appointed, that were even deregistered with the regulator. And we asked the question, it is time that we make a difference, and it is time that we stand up for this industry. And we will assist from an industry point of view and strengthen the hand for government to deal with this.
So do you support the call that he made today, that there should be an overall review of the regulatory framework?
We pleaded for the last 2 years with government to specifically review the Act, to make it more stringent on the non-compliant companies in order to root them out. And specifically remember that you as a consumer using the services of a service provider are also legally liable in terms of the SIA Act if you use that service. And I want to plead with each and every citizen of this country. I want to plead with corporates to ask the question tomorrow, is this company compliant? Are the employees legally registered? Are they properly trained? And are they legitimate?
Will you, as an industry body, name and shame those companies that are employing security companies that are not compliant?
We will deal with all the information that we'll receive after today. We will deal with the corporate executives and inform them that they employ. The problem that we are sitting with is that a specialized service is starting to become a commodity. So the appointing of service providers has been phased down to clerical level, which means that they don't understand the legal compliance that needs to happen before you can even appoint those companies.
The other allegation made by the minister today.
We will also take legal action if necessary.
Take legal action against them. He also mentioned the illicit gathering of intelligence. How much of that is happening?
The intelligence part is not part of the SIA members. Remember that our industry deals with from imports, electronics, the guarding, the armed response, the cash in transit, the in-house security under the mining industry, as well as locksmiths and close protection. And it doesn't deal with that facet of and we've taken a decision in 2003 when we formed SIA that we will deal with private security and not with intelligence.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. That was the CEO of the Security Industry Alliance, Steve Conradie. Angie now has your sport.
Thank you very much, Nikhil.